What's up YouTube, my name is Maxel and welcome back to my channel. In this week's episode we're gonna discuss this record, the soundtrack for the film More by the band Pink Floyd. Thanks again guys for all your suggestions. I hope I can make a video out of everything, but this is the one for this week's episode. This album is rather unknown and I think it's also underrated, but I'm going to tell you why in the next couple of minutes. The album was released in 1969 and as it says, it's the soundtrack for the film More, and the movie deals with heroin addiction and the drug fascination of the 1960s on the island of Ibiza. And I think this is really important to know because there is a sort of threatening vibe in this whole album, and it's transported through the lyrics and through the music. So if you don't know the reason why the record was made, it's probably gonna be a bit hard for you to like it, really. This album is also the first one the band recorded without their founder and lead singer Syd Barrett. So it's interesting to see if there was a change in their sounds and stuff. And because I haven't watched the movie, I can only imagine in what scenes the music was used. So this could be also kind of interesting. And yeah, let's go. The whole side A of the record is, I don't know if you can see it, is basically, with the exception of the instrumental Up the Kyber, is written by Roger Waters. So let's see what Roger had to say throughout this music, shall we? The first song of the record is called Cyrus Minor and is named after a cloud. And for starters, you get a bored David Gilmour singing and the sound of chirping birds in the background. In the end of it, there is an echo effect laid on the singing, so there is a really kind of interesting, disturbing and dark vibe in contrast to the birds chirping, which I think is really cool. And there's also another contrast. The lyrics are basically describing the nature, and there is this swirly kind of organ Richard Wright plays, and this is kind of a trippy, swirly kind of sound, and it sounds like more layers, but I don't know if it really is, because Richard Wright was basically a magician on the organ. So yeah, interesting start really. Song number 2, the Nile song, is probably the one everyone knows, or rather the most known song of the record, and it is such a heavy tune, probably the heaviest they ever made, and I really like it because it got this cool 60s distorted guitar kind of sound. Which is extremely nice to hear, and also the lyrics are kind of angry, so yeah, pretty straightforward heavy metal kind of tone, or maybe some people say it's like grungy because it's so raw from the sound. It is also interesting that this song has got no chorus and just verses, but in between the verses there is some kind of soloing, so that is basically the chorus. So this is more or less a repetitive pattern in the song, but overall an awesome song, and yeah, pretty cool. The third song on the record is a crying song, and this is more or less like on the first album they did. It is this psychedelic folk kind of thing, and there isn't really lots of stuff happening there. The text is very short and the lyrics, it's more or less an acoustic song, but the sound of it is pretty cool because everything sounds pleasant and spatial. You can hear everything where everything comes from, but the lyrics are rather sad, so also a nice contrast. This is basically the record of contrasts. And after this acoustic bit, there is also a bit of electric guitar, so really nice sound. Song 4, as I mentioned earlier, is called Up the Kyber, and this is a song which wasn't written by Roger Waters, and it's an interplay between Nick Mason on drums and Richard Wright on the organ, and it's got this really jazzy kind of vibe to it, which is extremely cool in my opinion, but I'm glad that it's only like 2 minutes 12 because it gets kind of crazy or maybe annoying at the end. So you really have to be in the mood for a bit of this crazy music, unless it's if you aren't, it's basically a skipper. But I think it's got a pretty cool sound because both of them were jazz influenced, so that is cool. The fifth song of the record, Green is the Color, is probably the one that is most easy listening like. It's such an awesome song with pretty cool acoustic guitar, and David Gilmour sings this song very quietly and full of feeling. So I think this is really a great number and also a contrast to the song beforehand. And from listening to this record, I started to realize also when I heard other Pink Floyd songs how important the keyboard is by Rick Wright. It makes the sound seem so, I don't know, complete maybe is the word. So really great number. And I heard this song, I think 10 times now, because I think it is really cool to listen to. It is just a great tune, and to come back to this complete kind of sound, it's interesting because it's got drums in it, but the keyboard sort of makes up for it, so genius basically. The next decision is going to be kind of difficult because Green is the Color and Cymbaline, I don't know which one of both songs is my favorite song from the record, but I'd probably go for Cymbaline. And Cymbaline is the first song who's got a chorus on it. So yeah, here we go. Song number 6, first one with the chorus. So not really this kind of radio sound. And like the rest of the record, it is really not like this happy-go-lucky kind of vibe, but I love the vibe in it. It has got this, I read it is about a nightmare when I read the lyrics. So how can it be happy? So basically it does everything it should. And I think it is such a cool sound they are transporting through it. So yeah, really amazing number. And Mr. Wright decided to put an echo on his organ again, and this makes a bit of a disturbing background sound, especially in the end. So I don't know, I really like it. My girlfriend is a bit scared of Pink Floyd, but I personally absolutely love it, because they are very good at creating images or creating maybe sounds where you have an idea, where you can feel the place, feel the tension, feel everything. So it's basically great that they have written a soundtrack for the movie, which I'm about to watch, or which I was about to watch really, but as it turned out, there was a version on YouTube, but with Russian direct translation, and yeah, after about 2 minutes I turned it off because I wanted to enjoy the movie, because I like the album so much. And if you're more interested into this song, and this is a really recommendation from me, number 5 and number 6 from side A are really, really good. And Cymbaline, there is a version from 1971 on YouTube, which is more powerful than the album version, and it is truly amazing. Just a great song to listen to with a pretty cool vibe, as I said earlier. For the last song of side A, they decided for a bizarre switch from the sad, disturbing nightmare kind of song, Cymbaline, to go to the song which is called Party Sequence, and it consists basically out of just bongos really, and it's rather happy. But also in the background there is this bit of Wright where he does this weird kind of background sound to give it a dangerous switch, which I think fits pretty good. I don't know, I have no experience with drug use. I can imagine that there is always this kind of part where you are extremely happy, and there's always this part where you're kind of scared of what's happening when the effect stops. So I think this record, I'm not sure if they got experiences with heroin, but I think for imagining how it would be like if you take substances like this, I think the kind of way or vibe they transported through side A is really, really cool. And I know what means cool, but it's believable, I think. So yeah, nice start into the record, really. Side B starts extremely dangerous and scary with the main theme of the movie, and I think this really sounds like horror music, or music from a horror movie, with minor notes from the keyboards and loud crash cymbals in the background, but underlined by a smooth and dark and heavy bass. Pretty fat sound-wise. And surprise, surprise, it gets pretty trippy in the middle part with some cool guitar bending by Gilmour, and then afterwards the evil theme sort of continues. So yeah, also not the song you want to listen to when you're sitting in the park. Song number 2 on the record side is basically a lot like the song number 2 on the first side. It's called Ibizaba, and it's also got this extremely heavy sound, but it's got a chorus. But overall, I would say, I think from the theoretical point of view on music, it is rather different because of the chord progression, but overall they sound pretty similar. And lyric-wise, it is sort of a review on the life of the lyrical eye, which isn't that positive. He's scared and angry and stuff like that. But I think the song is really good. Song number 3 is called More Blues, and this is the first song really I think that isn't disturbing or scary at some point. It is just an extremely cool blues instrumental. At best it's trippy, but it is more or less just about the guitar, and the rest of the band is in the background, but I think the sound to it is extremely cool and amazing instrumental, but rather short. Yeah, Quicksilver. Song number 4 on side B. I think song 11 overall, and we're back at it again with the scary and dark vibe. This song is just Richard Wright playing the organ, making noise and stuff. And it is the longest song on the record. It's 7:40. This is probably the one I know, or I don't know what exactly the scene in the movie is going to be like, but it probably has to be something extremely disturbing and scary. If that's the case, and I think it is the case, the song is pretty good, because the vibe it transports to the listener is kind of tough, really. So also not a song you would listen on a park bench, or maybe like when you're in a foreign environment and it's dark outside. Don't listen to it. Really don't. And yeah. Richard Wright's organ is basically the foundation. The rest of the band plays with it. This is a tough one. The fifth song on side B is called A Spanish Piece, and this is also a very contrast-free song because there is this extremely cool guitar instrumental by David Gilmour where he plays a Spanish guitar kind of tune, so acoustic guitar and slides and this heavy finger picking and strumming, which I think is extremely cool, and the sound of it is just amazing. But there is also this guy, and especially when you hear it on headphones, it's gonna be sort of crazy because on your left ear you got this extremely feelingful version of a Spanish guitar song, and on the right side you got the character, which is basically Gilmour, talking in your ear, very dark, very deep, and with a lisp, and he's just telling you that the music is cool in this bar, which I can imagine in the scene, and he orders a tequila, and he threatens you if you laugh at his lisp that he's gonna kill you. So yeah, a huge contrast between nice Spanish music and a crazy guy in the bar. The last song of the album is also instrumental, and the song before was like 120 and this is about 2 minutes. Yeah, short instrumental, and I don't know what to say about this really because it just sounds cool. There is a cool bass riff in it and a distorted guitar, so pretty cool, but nothing too special. For my critic, I'm gonna say that I think the record is really cool, but the occasion you're listening to, or the occasion you're giving it a try, has got to be right. Because it is just nothing, when the weather is good, you're laying on the grass and you say, oh yeah, I'm gonna listen to the music of more. You just have to like this contrast-free kind of music between extremely well played and nice kind of sound, like on vacation maybe, and also this threatening vibe. So I think it's probably good to know why they've written this album. But if you can appreciate it, I think the album is extremely good, and I'm a fan of it. I will listen to it more. I just listened to it when I bought it once, and I was like, yeah, the Nile song is cool and this and that. But after the suggestion, I gave it another try, and I think that this record truly a good Pink Floyd album, and I think it's extremely underrated because if you don't like the scary stuff, probably the beginning phase of Pink Floyd isn't gonna be your thing. But other albums are also praised, so why isn't this one? And I think everything sounds pretty complete really, and I think this one gave me a great idea on the whole Pink Floyd sound. I think Waters, there's a bit of a lack of Waters because he doesn't sing one song on this album, but lots of the songs were also in their standard live concert set list up until I think 1972, so for 3 years, so the guys must have liked their music by themselves. And it is probably one of the albums where the music album or the soundtrack album is more famous than the movie itself, really. So yeah, thanks again for giving me this suggestion, because I think it was really a nice time for me listening to this album because of the vibe it gave you to it. You're just like sinking into this world maybe. So like an escape from your daily life basically. And I think Pink Floyd does this amazing. And I don't know what you guys think, but I probably would suggest you to listen to it. My girlfriend doesn't like it, so she probably thinks I'm a bit crazy for liking this kind of music. But I think they've done everything right with it. I mean, Quicksilver is kind of difficult to listen to, really. But I think it fits the vibe. Everything seems like it's in the right place. This contrast-free thing, the happy sound, the sad sound, the disturbing sound, the crazy sound. I think it's got basically everything to it. So yeah, give it a go, guys. So overall, I can just recommend you guys to listen to the record. And thanks again for listening. To my opinion, what I say about records, really, I think it is amazing that over 100 people are watching my videos and that I still get suggestions and submissions to make new videos about albums I maybe heard once or maybe heard 10 times or I never listened to it. So I think it is great just to take yourself some time and listen to something and start to understand why the artist has made this album, what he wanted to say with it, really. Also, if it's something like this, which is basically covering a story in a movie, and yeah, that is really interesting. And if you got more submissions or more suggestions for me, feel free to write them in the comments. I love to read this and take myself some spare time and listen to records and listen to the stuff you like. And probably I can make something like this, which is really unknown, interesting for you guys to listen to. And you're thinking like, yeah, if this guy likes it, probably I'm gonna like it. Or maybe if he says this record is crazy, I'm gonna listen to it. So yeah, thank you for listening. Have a great week. And yeah, hopefully we see ourselves next Friday. All right, see you then. Goodbye.